Time now for the Nick Hart Show. It's presented each week by the Gibson Southern Football Boosters, including A&T Concrete, ADG Architecture and Design Group, Agrigold, All Trade Solutions LLC, AM Transport, Engermeyer Electric, Baker Tax and Financial Services, Brett's Car Care, Country Barns, Nolcon Marketing, Davis Brothers, Daylight Land Management, Daywig Meats of Hobstadt, Diversified Instrument Services, Drosty's Jewelry Shops, DuBois County Garage Doors Incorporated, Duke Energy, the Dunkel Family, Friends of Mason Scheller, Edward Jones Financial Advisor Jason Rainey, Emerson Cattle Company, ERA First Advantage Realty Rodney Langford, Fort Branch Car Wash, Foster Construction, Fort Branch Dairy Queen, Full Metal Armory, the Grandmothers of Jackson Adams, Hobstadt Family Dentistry, Hobstadt Summerfest, Heritage Federal Credit Union, Heritage Petroleum LLC, Hillside Gardens, Hip Dentistry, Hoosier Pain and Posture, IMI Concrete, Engler Family Eye Care, Jarbo Tax Service, JMCO Technologies, Johnson Commercial Mowing, K&K Excavating Incorporated, Casey Gray, Fuquay State Farm Agent, Kathy Solman Photography, Kiesel Wagner Survey, L&B Boutique, Little Miracles, Lowry Ag, Make Your Mark, in memory of Darwin and Eric Kalis, MyTech Systems, National Vet Help, Perfect Climate Heating and Air, Pole Concrete Construction, by Pro Rehab, Rawhide Golf, Remax Revolution, Ripco Systems, Roberts Boring, Trenching and Excavating, by Sandy's Pizza, Scheller's Carriage Inn, Shearer Monuments, Scotty's Lawn Equipment, Stodgel Funeral Home, Stodgel Monuments, by Tim Barge Seed, Tai Chow, Titan Construction Partners, Triad Fabricators, Titan Youth Football League, United Fidelity Bank, Vertical Tile Incorporated, Vicky Townsend FC Tucker Realtor, by Wash Boss, We Simply Clean LLC, Whitledge Tree Service LLC, and by Young's Auto Body. Now, The Nick Hart Show, a special production of the Wabash Valley College Radio, TV, and Digital Media Department and 89.1 The Bash.
Hello and welcome to 89.1 The Bash, your home for the Gibson Southern Titans. Well, let me rephrase that. Your sectional champions, the Gibson Southern Titans. Great effort of play this past Friday. But you are listening here to the Nick Hart Show. We've had 12 weeks of football, so this will be week 13. My name is Wes Harness, here with the head coach, sectional champion of the Gibson Southern Titans in that 3A sectional. Coach Hart, how are we doing this morning?
Good.
Good to hear. But yeah, last Friday, a great 27-13 victory over Vincennes Lincoln. A great game of football played on both sides. I think both sides played phenomenal. Despite obviously some of the penalties we'd like to get back as both teams and a few turnovers. But Coach Hart, sectional 33A champions with that 27-13 victory over Vincennes Lincoln. How does it feel?
It's great. I think it's always the biggest goal is to win a sectional. The ultimate goal is, state championship every year, but you got to win your sectional first to get there. You win your sectional, you get to 8 teams left in the state, and I thought it was a great win by our guys. Just kind of a gutty performance against a good team. And like I said, we're one of 8 teams in the state left now, practicing football, preparing for a game this week. And that's a great thing and a great feeling, and something our kids deserve for all the work they've put in and what they've done throughout the season.
Yeah, I gotta agree. It's been a hard-fought season. You guys took on some talent at the beginning of the season, and a lot. And the average football fan would kind of think, they're getting settled. They played some tough teams, but a lot of people that, here to support the Titans and love watching the team win. Probably are seeing those few games like, man, what's going on? We're not undefeated to start the season. But, this is why you face those talented teams. You ran into a very talented Vincennes Lincoln team. I've got to commend them. I think that might have been one of the fastest defenses, as opposed to maybe week one against Boyle County, one of the fastest and most physical defenses we played so far this season. Tell me the offense, 364 total yards, 30 minutes of time of possession with the football to the 17 and a half for Vincennes Lincoln. Walk me through kind of what you were thinking with the offense with that game going on.
Yeah, we knew, they were very good defensively. I felt like early we left some points on the field. We had a fumble in the red zone, a turnover in the red zone. We had a 1st and goal at the 1 that turned into 3 points after a false start, and then we kind of went backwards.
Mm-hmm.
I thought early we kind of missed some opportunities to put some more points on the board. But I thought offensively, I think putting up 27 against their defense, when you look at it, all the most they've given up all year was 31 against North. That was without their quarterback. And you think, well, what's the quarterback do with defense? Well, they really struggled to move the ball in that game.
Mm-hmm.
We knew defensively they were going to be a big challenge. And I thought, offensively, we did enough. I think, we won the game defensively. With some of the firepower that they had on offense, to limit them to 13, and 7 of it was on a short field off of a turnover. I thought as our offense was struggling to finish off drives and stuff, our defense really kept us in the football game, especially in the first half. I thought with some of the red zone miscues that we had, to go up 12-7 right there before the half was big. We had a chance to make it some more, but to have those, give them a short field for their 7 points, and some of the miscues we had in the red zone to have a lead at halftime was a big deal. But I can't talk about our defense enough and what they were able to do, because not only were they getting stops, there was a lot of 3 and outs, and rarely, because of our tempo. Now Vincennes runs tempo as well, but rarely because of our tempo are we going to win the time of possession in the way that we did. And it's not really a stat I care about, but I think it shows some of the quick stops our defense was able to get in getting them off the field, set our offense up with some good field position, especially when Vincennes had to punt into the wind. I thought defensively, we were really, really good. Obviously, the last drive, we were trying to make sure we didn't give up something quick, when we were up 14. But I thought we did a great job in pass coverage all night. We did a really good job on the Hunt kid, who's a great football player, when he went to scramble around and stuff. I just thought our defense was phenomenal the entire night.
The Nick Hart Show on 89.1 The Bash is made possible by Full Metal Armory, the Fort Branch Dairy Queen, Foster Construction, Fort Branch Car Wash, ERA First Advantage Realty Rodney Langford, Emerson Cattle Company, Edward Jones Financial Advisor Jason Rainey, the Dunkel Family, Friends of Mason Scheller, Duke Energy, Du Bois County Garage Doors Incorporated, Drosty's Jewelry Shops, Diversified Investment Services, Daywig Meats of Hobstock, Daylight Land Management, Davis Brothers, Country Barns, Nolcon Marketing, Brett's Car Care, Baker Tax and Financial Services, Angermeyer Electric, AM Transport, All Trade Solutions LLC, AgriGold, ADG Architecture and Design Group, and by A&T Concrete.
Yeah, I agree as well. Having that big turnover in that last drive, they did squeak out about 2 plays for 40 to 45 yards. Defense did not quiver one bit. They came up. Vincent Lincoln came out with that option, kind of fumbled that pitch there. And the defense doing a great job corralling that play and, getting on the football and, ending the football game there. One thing scheme-wise, so, it was good seeing Bo Rose in the backfield a little bit for this Gibson Southern offense. There's one play I want to talk with you about. I kind of broke it down on air this past Friday, but it was a 4th and 1 play. You had DeLong, I think, at the right wing, maybe at a slot receiver, but you had Tanner Boyd and Bo Rose in the backfield. And it was a 4th and 1 play. Bo Rose came up, set the edge on that left side, and Tanner Boyd had one guy to beat, and he beat him. I'm sure you remember the play, but kind of what was the mindset there? Because I thought that was just a beautiful play ran. It didn't look like it may have came from the playbook. It may have been just a prep game for this week, but kind of go through what was kind of the concept, going at this Vincent Lincoln defense.
Well, I think the first thing is, they called timeout. They had stopped us on 3rd and 1. They called timeout. I wanted to go for it. I just thought our defense had played great, but they were out of timeouts. We're down to like 3:30 left in the game. And even though our defense had been great, and this shows what I think about the kids player, I didn't want Hunt to touch the ball again. If we could keep that from happening. So on the 3rd and 1, they jumped into a bear front and we ran power with Bo, and they were able to stop the power. So we went on a hard count, which turns into a check with me. They were in the bear front again. Outside zone is something that we like against the bear front.
Yeah.
And the way they were kind of playing zero, selling out to stop the run, which makes sense on a 4th and 1. There wasn't a lot to the alley on the backside. So, really it was quarterback outside zone, with Bo being in the backfield. He was responsible for the will. So they kind of pinched, which allowed us to get reaches and get the edge. So in essence, like if you're looking at it, it probably looked like quarterback power, but it was quarterback outside zone as they pinched. We got everything reached, which probably looked like knockdowns, and as they pinched, the backer filled the edge, and Bo was able to kick him out with a big time block, and able to spring Tanner, for the touchdown.
No, it was a beautiful play. I just loved watching it be ran. Bo Rose blocked it beautifully. Tanner Boyd just came off right off that left side of the line. And, you also, did you guys, if I'm not mistaken, you guys went under center for that play as well, which I think sold that Vincent Lincoln defense, thinking even if it's not a power, it's a QB sneak, and we've totally got the A and B gap stacked up there, so there's no way anyone's getting through. So I think that outside zone was just a great call, Coach. Great call. I loved watching it. It got me excited, got me fired up, hopping out of my seat up in that press box last Friday. But just a beautifully ran play and a great way to kind of just set the tone for the, kind of confirm the win there. And, one other thing I kind of want to hint on is, I got to give a lot of credit to your guys on the field. Is getting a little bit chippy towards the end of the game. Once that game kind of found its winner with Gibson Southern kind of confirming the victory. The 2-1 sportsmanlike by Vincent Lincoln. A lot of credit to the guys for, not wanting to fire back or kind of just walking off and letting it be done, because it's just an easy way to lose a player for a game if someone's hands get a little too wild. So a lot of credit for the sportsmanship by Gibson Southern at the end of the game as well. Was an amazing game, though. I can't take anything away from that. A little bit extra on the penalties, a couple turnovers. We could have turned into at least 3 points, but, came off with a win and moving on to the regionals here. But with that, we will go ahead and take a short break. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about this Vincent Lincoln game, and then we'll move on to that regional championship against Tri-West coming up this Saturday. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back here on 89.1 The Bash.
The Nick Hart Show is brought to you by National Vet Help, by Tech Systems, in memory of Darwin and Eric Kalis, Make Your Mark, Lowry Ag, Little Miracles, L&B Boutique, Kiesel Wagner Survey, Kathy Solman Photography, Casey Gray, Fuquay State Farm Agent, K&K Excavating Incorporated, Johnson Commercial Mowing, JMCO Technologies, Jarbo Tax Service, Engler Family Eye Care, IMI Concrete, Hoosier Pain and Posture, Hip Dentistry, Hillside Gardens, Heritage Petroleum LLC, Heritage Federal Credit Union, Hobstadt Summerfest, Hobstadt Family Dentistry, and by the grandmothers of Jackson Adams.
Hello and welcome back to 89.1 The Bash, your home for the Gibson Southern Titans, your sectional champions here in the 3A and round 30, or sectional 30, excuse me, here with Coach Hart for the Nick Hart Show. Got a big one coming up this Saturday, but we've got a little bit more to talk about. Let's kind of break down this offense from last Friday's game against Vincennes Lincoln, that 27-13 victory to become the sectional champions. We talked a little bit about the offense, had a few turnovers in the red zone that could have maybe extended this lead a little bit or changed the tide of the game early on. But, some of these guys, Tanner Boyd, it looks average on paper, but an exceptional game for him. 24 of 29, only missed 5 passes the whole game, 187 yards, did have a touchdown, did have an interception as well. But there's going to be, teams are going to make plays on both sides of the football with whoever Gibson Southern is playing, especially at the level of competition we are at now that it's playoff time. But Coach, tell me a little bit how you felt on Tanner Boyd's performance this past Friday.
I thought Tanner was great. The one pick, we're kind of taking a shot, and I think with the wind, it just kind of sailed on him a little bit. But he did a great job. I thought, 24-29 is great. He was great in the running game. Obviously, sealed it with the big run. But I think more importantly, he just made great decisions. Vincennes had a great defensive lineman that was putting pressure on us all night, and kind of whenever Tanner got knocked off platform and stepped up through and stuff, he just I think that's when quarterbacks are more likely to make bad decisions whenever everything's not clean in the pocket. And I thought as he kind of stepped up through, he was, even if it was 3rd and 8, he didn't put us in a bad position. He go pick up a couple yards and we punt, or whatever it was. He just he's more than a game manager, so I don't want that label. But he managed the game very well for us, in that regard, and just made great decisions throughout the night.
Yeah, we talked about his passing in the run game, 20 carries for 110 yards, did have 2 touchdowns on the ground with that big 49-yard. I don't know if that's a run or a touchdown, but a big 49-yard play. I'm assuming it was a touchdown, but it's just well said by Tanner. Great, not a time manager, just a great player. Fuel in this offense, kind of that fire up guy, that go-to guy who's going to set the tone for the offense. And then we had some receivers who kind of stepped up as well. Michael Herron definitely getting a lot more action as the season has gone on. Definitely made his spot as the top receiver in this Titans team. 9 catches for 75 yards. Then Sean DeLong had 7 catches for 57 yards. And then Zach Foster, 3 catches for 23. And then Bo Rose, Maddox Potts, Grant Stinson, Seth Parsons all caught a pass as well. All of those guys caught the passes that were thrown to them. Just an exceptional outing on offense. 364 total yards of offense, about 50.1% to 49.9% run to pass, had 187 yards passing, 185 yards rushing. But one thing, I'd like to point out, Sean DeLong didn't have the kind of running game we'd kind of expect, had quite about 5 or 6 games with 100+ yards, but still hit that 100+ in all purpose. That, like you mentioned, that defensive line was great. It was so being able to have Sean DeLong kind of play a dual role has been exceptional. But tell me a little bit about how you felt Sean played this past Friday.
Great, and he's always kind of been that Swiss Army knife for us. I thought even in some of our empty stuff, we played some pitch and catch with him. And I thought as they kind of started cheating a safety that way, it kind of opened up the run game for Tanner, out of the empty stuff. So, I think there's some things, in there that don't necessarily show up in the stat sheet that he's able to do. The touchdown drive, where we take the lead. He does a great job. We've kind of played pitch and catch with him on the backside of an empty set. The effort to score there before half. He caught it at about the 1 and then got hit and went backwards a little bit and was able to get in. Yeah. There were some huge plays like that. I thought Sean was again a big time dude for us on Friday.
The Nick Hart Show is brought to you by Perfect Climate Heating and Air, Pole Concrete Construction, Pro Rehab, Rawhide Golf, Remax Revolution, Ripco Systems, Roberts Boring Trenching and Excavating, Sandy's Pizza, Scheller's Carriage Inn, Shearer Monuments, Scotty's Lawn Equipment, Stodgel Funeral Home, Stodgel Monuments, Tim Barge Seed, Tai Chow, Titan Construction Partners, Triad Fabricators, TYFL, United Fidelity Bank, Vertical Tile Incorporated, Vicki Townsend FC Tucker Realtor, Wash Boss, We Simply Clean LLC, Whitledge Tree Service LLC, and by Young's Auto Body.
Yeah, gotta agree with you there. That offense, everyone's able to make something happen. You could put that ball in anyone's hands, and you could still have the confidence that that player is going to go out, do his job, and do it to the best of his ability with the best effort. And I think that's one thing we're going to see a lot more as these games are going to come down the line, and you're going to see a lot more effort. Just how hard this Titan team works day in and day out. I think we're really going to see that happening. Those big effort plays a lot more in this playoffs and this state tournament. But I do want to kind of transition, want to take a look at the whole bracket here. Also want to congratulate, Evansville North with their big win over Castle, getting that sectional championship. I know Austin Little, Coach Kevin Jingaball coached at North with my old teammate Austin. So it was nice to hear them get a win. Memorial got the 4A title over Undefeated Rights. Excuse me. And, just a great coaching scheme of football against a powerful opponent like Rights. North Posey with their first sectional title since 2005. Beat Mater Dei in overtime, then took down Paoli 35-14, I believe the score was. So got a lot of action coming out of this southwestern area. Going to be a lot of great football games coming up on Friday and Saturday. But let's go ahead and transition to the next biggest game of the season, regional championship here against the 11-1 Tri-West, or one loss. Now, I don't know where this team is from, but I know their name, Brebeuf Jesuit. Their one loss on the season, a 34-17 loss. I took a kind of gandered a little bit at this Tri-West team, and I know all the teams flow around the quarterback, but this team really looks like they put their quarterback on their back. But Coach Hart, tell me a little bit what you've seen so far with this Tri-West opponent coming up on Saturday.
First of all, they're a really good football team, which is to be expected. There's only 8 teams left, so most of the teams left are pretty darn good. They've had a great season. I think they play in a good conference. The one loss was to Brebeuf, which is kind of ironic because the last time we played Tri-West was in the semi-state, and then we played Brebeuf in the state championship. I think it's a team that's gotten a lot better as the year's gone on. Like you said, stop me if you've heard this. It feels kind of like it's been the theme of the year for our opponents, but they got a dual threat quarterback
Yeah.
that does that does a great job. Now I think he's different than some of the guys we've played. He's a really good athlete. I'm not saying that, but man, he runs tough.
Yeah.
He's more of a downhill guy. He's going to run through some tackles. They're a spread team, but yeah, it runs through him. He's got some really good receivers that he spreads the ball out to. We got to be disciplined. And again, it's probably people that listen to the show have heard this a lot because we've played a lot of guys like this, but we got to be disciplined in like the read game, with him, make sure that we've got him accounted for, because he'll make you pay. And they do a lot of design stuff with him, where we just got to, fit it correctly, which our guys have done a great job of. I mean, I thought we did a great job on Hunt the other night. We have a lot of experience of playing these running type of quarterbacks. He's a junior, and I think for a junior, he's really, really good. Just probably the best thing I could say about a kid, like he's just a tough, competitive type of guy. And he's really kind of the straw that stirs the drink for them offensively.
Yeah, I agree. I think excuse me. I think you're exactly correct. One thing I will say about some of these dual threat quarterbacks we faced so far is we've seen a lot more of some great defense in the secondary by the Titans, and we've seen these quarterbacks kind of they're using their legs to get some more yardage or to kind of try and bust out a big play. I feel like with Walden, there's going to be set plays where he's going to run kind of, that power up the middle. I don't think I've seen too much of him using his legs to keep the team alive, but he's more using those legs to keep the offense going. They sound very similar, but, they're going to run a lot of set runs through him. They will do some kind of sprint outs, but he's going to be looking to pass the ball, I feel like, more than, seeing nothing than trying to get what he can. But yeah, from what I saw, like I said, I only watched the Danville game so far, but that it's a great offense. They're not scared to take some shots. And really excited for this matchup here. Ready to see this defense. This defense, we've talked about them every week. And they just continue to get better and better and better as the weeks go on. So really excited to see this defense going out here. But offensively for the Titans, I kind of saw a little bit of a forefront. They did drop back into a 3, but that was maybe 2 or 3 times. Obviously more receivers, the more guys they're going to want to cover. But, what are we going to expect from this Tri-West defense coming up on Saturday?
I think, and this isn't taking anything away from their offense or the quarterback. They're very good on the offensive side. I think their strength is their defense. You kind of look at their scores as they go through the year. They give up 34 to Rebuff early, but since then, I think 21 is the most that's been scored on them, and so very similar to Vincent's, probably with how they're limiting teams from scoring. I think their front 7 is really, really good. It can really be some tough sledding inside there, and I think part of the reason why they're low scoring too, and this isn't taking anything away from the defense. I think their defense is really good. Just kind of like them combined with the teams they play, I feel like there's not a lot of possessions, in their games. Tri-West is hit some big plays, but they're more of a, downhill, like even with the quarterback run stuff, it's downhill. They're putting together drives, chewing up the clock a little bit. And a lot of teams they play run the football too. So I just feel like, there's in the films we have there's not a ton of possessions. So I think that's a big thing for us is to kind of control the tempo, play at our tempo that we want to play at. But yeah, they're very good defensively, very well coached. They start 4 seniors on the D line, which in 3A football is hard to do. So I think that gives them a lot of experience. One of the DNs played against us a couple of years ago as a sophomore in the semi-state. So they have some experience up front. I think their linebackers are good and physical. And you talked about the way Vincennes ran to the ball. I thought their team speed was excellent. I think Tri-West really gets to the football and runs things down, really well as well. So, I think one thing we got to do offensively is we got to clean some stuff up. Like against Vincennes, for the most part, I thought our turnovers and some of our holds and penalties kind of put us in bad situations offensively. Where we weren't able to put together or finish drives. We got to clean some of that stuff up on Saturday because again, like they're too good of a defense to put yourself in 1st and 20. They're too good of a defense to have miscues and turn the ball over to them. We have to take care of us. They're going to make enough plays on the defensive side themselves that we got to take care of us and limit our mistakes. So, we are able to put some drives together.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. It's going to be a battle of the defenses, that's for sure. I'm not taking anything away from this offense. We can limit some penalties, but I think offensively we did have a couple hard counts able to give Vincent's Lincoln 2 jump off sides into that neutral zone. The further we get into the season, the more conditioned, the more composed the teams are going to be. I think it's going to be a little bit harder against a team like Tri-West, who's so successful on the defensive side, to get those kind of little ticky-tacky penalties to get us those extra 5 yards or get us that extra first down. I think it's going to be a lot coming from that offensive line and how hard they're going to have to work in order to, continue to move the football forward. But it's going to be a great test. Always love close football games like this. It always keeps me on my toes up in the box, and I know a lot of the fans feel the same way. So really excited for, this next week of football. Personally, me, never had a sectional championship in all 3 sports I played. This is my sectional championship from high school now that I'm a part of a program that was able to make it happen. So, it's been an amazing ride, and it is nowhere near stopping soon. The sky's the limit with this team. Got a big win last week and expecting another big win coming up on Saturday. But Coach Hart, you got anything else for us today?
No, I think, really excited for Saturday. Hope to see, and I know we will, but hope to see a lot of Titan fans make the trip up, for this big ball game.
Yeah, so I'm thinking about it. I haven't pulled the trigger yet, but I know North Posey plays on Friday, and they play up in Indy as well. I think the destinations are about an hour apart from each other, both the schools. So I may be coming up Friday night, getting a hotel, getting up nice and early, having a nice little breakfast, and heading to the Gibson Southern game. But we will see. Definitely excited to make the trip. It's going to be a lot of fun. But that is all we've got for your Week 13 Nick Hart Show. Next time you'll hear from us, Saturday, November 11th, 2 p.m. Central Time. So 2 p.m. our time. Going to be a 3 p.m. Eastern Time start, and that is on Saturday the 11th. Gibson Southern, number 2 in 3A, taking on Tri-West. I should have pulled up the ranks. I want to say they're 7th or 8th, I believe. But nonetheless, going to be a fantastic matchup, going to be a fantastic game. One more time, November 11th, 2 p.m. Central Time at Tri-West. Titans fighting for that regional championship. Hopefully everyone can make it. Looking forward to seeing everyone. And if you can't, you can listen to me here on 89.1 The Bash. It's not going to be as good as watching the game live, but I will try my best. But thank you guys for listening. Looking forward to seeing you guys on Saturday. Thank you for listening to the Nick Hart Show here on 89.1 The Bash.
Thanks for listening to the Nick Hart Show. It's a special presentation of the Gibson Southern Football Boosters, including Young's Auto Body, Whitledge Tree Service LLC, We Simply Clean LLC, Wash Boss, Vicky Townsend FC Tucker Realtor, Vertical Tile Incorporated, United Fidelity Bank, TYFL, Triad Fabricators, Titan Construction Partners, Tai Chow, Tin Barge Seed, Stodgill Monuments, Stodgill Funeral Home, by Scotty's Lawn Equipment, Shearer Monuments, Scherer's Carriage Inn, Sandy's Pizza, Roberts Boring, Trenching, and Excavating, Ripco Systems, by Remax Revolution, Rawhide Golf, Pro Rehab, Pole Concrete Construction, Perfect Climate Heating and Air, National Vet Help, MyTech Systems, in memory of Darwin and Eric Kalis, and by Make Your Mark, Lowry Ag, Little Miracles, L&B Boutique, Kiesel Wagner Survey, Kathy Salmon Photography, Casey Gray Fuquay State Farm Agent, K&K Excavating Incorporated, Johnson Commercial Mowing, JMCO Technologies, by Jarbo Tax Service, Engler Family Eye Care, IMI Concrete, Hoosier Pain and Posture, by Hip Dentistry, Hillside Gardens, Heritage Petroleum LLC, Heritage Federal Credit Union, by Hobstadt Summerfest, Hobstadt Family Dentistry, the Grandmothers of Jackson Adams, Full Metal Armory, the Fort Branch Dairy Queen, Foster Construction, Fort Branch Car Wash, ERA First Advantage Realty Rodney Langford, Emerson Cattle Company, by Edward Jones Financial Advisor Jason Rainey, the Dunkel Family Friends of Mason Scheller, by Duke Energy, Du Bois County Garage Doors Incorporated, Drosty's Jewelry Shops, Diversified Investment Services, Daywig Meats of Hobstadt, Daylight Land Management, Davis Brothers, Courtney Barnes, Nolcon Marketing, Brett's Car Care, Baker Tax and Financial Services, Angermeyer Electric, AM Transport, All Trade Solutions LLC, AgriGold, ADG Architecture and Design Group, and by A&T Concrete. The Nick Hart Show, a special sports production of the Wabash Valley College Radio, TV, and Digital Media Department, and your home for the Titans, 89.1 The Bash.